With men, one thing I noticed is it's very difficult for a woman to speak when men are speaking. You can't get them to stop speaking. So I actually started raising my hand. You'd find me pressing on my fingers as a form of for me to just relax and not show that I'm stressed or worried.
Yeah.
Because it's just, they can be intimidating, but I'm very confident in what I bring to the table. With women and with men, if they don't give you the time of day, I adapted a mindset of they're not interested and that's okay. It's nothing personal. I'd put it that way. That's how I see it. So it is challenging at first to get their attention, but once you get their attention, it's yours.
Welcome to Sheconomy, the podcast dedicated to celebrating the rising influence of women in today's economy. I'm your host, Sophia. Today, we're thrilled to welcome Maryam AlMansoori, an inspiring UAE-born entrepreneur. Maryam is the founder of Rebound, a groundbreaking platform that's transforming the recycling industry. Welcome, Maryam.
Thank you, Sophia.
So let's start off with what actually inspired you into sustainability and the circular economy?
I think with sustainability, it's my love for elephants ever since the age of 6 or 7. Grew up loving them for some reason, and self-taught myself about the environment and habitat degradation. And then circular economy comes from my background in finance and for working for the Cabinet of Ministers. I just realized how the economies of every single action were related, and let alone the circular economy is really what our planet needs. So sustainability, economy, and just recycling in general brought together Rebound.
Amazing. And Rebound is about transformation, not just recycling. Can you share a standout story of impact from Rebound?
When it comes to recycling, a lot of you'd read on the media that recycling doesn't work, materials are bad, one material assumably is better than the other, and it's not based on science or any facts. But what people don't understand is one door opens up 7 to 10 times more, and this is why the circular economy is more impactful, because of the impact it has financially on a lot of things. A story that I can share is how we today work with entities that not only replace their raw materials with more friendly materials that can be recycled, but we actually made sure that these materials are captured and sent to the right verified recyclers that brought the material at a fair market price. So Rebound eliminates a lot of the middlemen that it would take for the raw material to reach the right recycler and then to the sought after processor or manufacturer.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That's very, very interesting. So sustainability talk is quite common, but action isn't. So what's a personal habit that you've adapted to live your values?
It's quite difficult at the start, but I have to say one thing we need to learn how to do is refuse. We need to refuse packaging if we don't need it. If I'm carrying a bag that's large enough to cover my whole spree or day, I just use that one bag. Personally, at home, we separate and recycle all of our waste. We stopped ordering food for more than what we can consume, because food waste is a huge problem.
Correct.
People assume that packaging is the issue, but it's actually food waste that's going to put us at larger risks. And, as a young girl my age, of course, shopping is a habit that I had to cut down on because I came to realize through Rebound that textile recycling doesn't work. We can't necessarily recycle our clothes. So why buy more when it gets dumped in landfill? And reusable. I try to reuse a lot of my items. I try to carry my own reusable coffee cup or water bottle or plate or set of utensils. So these are all personal things that I've done, but I've also managed to influence some of my friends and family as well.
Amazing, amazing. Now, digital solutions drive Rebound. Where do you see tech closing gaps in recycling in particular?
So there is the growing population of the world is mainly in the East, but the demand for recyclates come from the West. And so what the digital transformation has enabled us to do, at least in Rebound, is bridging that gap by enabling and uplifting the Eastern recyclers, especially those in Southeast Asia. You see, today it costs around $5,000 to $6,000 for a company to go and exhibit at any trade fair in Europe. And with the state of economy that we live in today, let alone what's coming, this is a huge amount for a lot of companies that are in the East.
Yeah.
And so why not create an Amazon-like platform that can bring these companies to that's really the point of Rebound. People mistake us for competition with other marketplaces, or they assume we recycle or we're traders and we hold on to the material. But what they're not realizing is, no, we're just trying to create a digital marketing brochure where companies that want to buy are confident in the sellers that are listing and supplying. So this is where digital comes in. But technology and AI is what is going to help Rebound drive accessibility and data. There is no data today about recycling worldwide. You go on to Statista, Google, any type of review and report. Companies don't even know the recyclers that are around them. People are shocked when I tell them who can recycle what in the UAE, let alone in all the other 50 countries that we've been exposed to. So price is a huge issue. And, in the financial space, you would want to know index of materials. Today, our commodities are raw material. 50, 60 years down the line, grandkids would most probably be hedging and trading recycled commodities or recycled materials in the form of commodities. And so where would you get all of that information from? We are the only platform that has primary detail of price points of different recyclers based on the quality of materials that they've listed. And we can compare, how much is this material selling at in Ireland versus in UAE versus, somewhere in China. So you need that type of visibility, and AI will help us scale the parameters attached to economic impact around price, whether it's job creation, whether it's raw material sourcing, whether it's end product use, and then the demand and supply chains, of course.
That's fascinating. Honestly, that's really fascinating. First, and I haven't heard of this anywhere else. You're right. I think Rebound are the first in this space.
It's a complex wheel.
Absolutely.
When you start to value data and when so I recently went on a trip to Egypt, and I thought that there weren't any trash bins just because maybe, the city municipalities didn't think of putting up trash bins. But I came to realize that, no, it's not that they're not putting trash bins. It's because they opt to not have bins set up because there are more than 800,000 homes in Egypt open or basically earning a living from picking waste. And so waste picking and scavengers and what, the United Nations refer to as the informal sector, they're not people that we should be against or ashamed of or those that we should try to suppress. Actually, we should be uplifting them and putting up in a formal way of roles and responsibilities as a normal job. Municipalities and waste management companies were not created to separate our waste. That's not how their P&Ls work. And that's why we have the problem of waste and why recyclers aren't getting enough feedstock. So today, when I see these gentlemen, going around their bikes, taking out all of our cardboard or picking up certain materials, this is a form of income and earning and an economy that is being suppressed because it's not being regulated in the way where all stakeholders agree. So Rebound is trying to regulate an unregulated market, but in a way where we don't step on anyone's toes, because I came to know that this market has existed for decades and decades. And there are some problems you can't fix, but you can only enhance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, all the best with that. And I think that's going to be a long and interesting journey for sure. Okay, so Maryam, the UAE blends tradition and innovation. How does this shape your approach to leadership and collaboration?
So the UAE is a country of 7 cities. If not for cooperation and unionship, we wouldn't be the country that we are today. A very, very young country of age that has accomplished so much in a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so collaboration is key in any type of job or role or company or industry that you work in. Today, we even see large competitors collaborating with each other, let alone, what I would do on a level of just running a company such as Rebound. Leadership is inspired by tradition and culture, whether it's through being humble and being inspired by some of the great leaders that passed before us, or it's about continuously learning, because one thing a person shouldn't forget is that they know too little. They never know too much. And that reminder is actually what keeps a lot of us going and a lot of women going, because women and women education and women leadership is needed at a time like this, because when the facts are laid out and we all start working together, we come up with a much better solution than if we do it in a sole matter, or like, as we say, one hand doesn't clap.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree. Totally agree. And what's crucial for young women breaking into traditionally male-dominated sectors like sustainability?
So sustainability is not necessarily, I wouldn't say sustainability is a male-dominated sector. I just say that the route to becoming sustainable, those routes are male-dominated. So if I want to make a difference in the circularity of materials, waste management, logistic companies, manufacturing companies, these are all male-dominated. Right. So my stakeholders are all male. For women, I think we shouldn't fear the opposite gender. A lot of men like to work with smart women when they see value in that woman. So I think we should be more confident. Yes, sometimes it's a bit awkward or it becomes a bit overwhelming, but at the end of the day, you're just another businesswoman in the room or a businessman in the room. So it is challenging at first to get their attention, but once you get their attention, it's yours. So yeah, I think I'd put it that way. That's how I see it. But with men, one thing I noticed is it's very difficult for a woman to speak when men are speaking. You can't get them to stop speaking. It's really funny. So I actually started raising my hand, like to cut in and interrupt. Yeah. Because they'd go on and they're really loud and they laugh in a very loud manner. And I'm just there like, oh goodness, I just want to finish this meeting and leave. Yeah. So each woman would find her own comfort in breaking into these rooms and stereotypes and boardrooms in general.
So I guess you're saying don't be intimidated by it at all. It's just a different way of working and that's what they do. So you have to.
It's hard. It's not easy. It's very hard. I have to admit, as someone that was being challenged technically on my technical knowledge. Now, thank God, I work with a lot of smart people and smart women that have enabled me to speak the technical language. So men do get surprised. But until I get the opportunity to explain to them, you'd find me pressing on my fingers as a form of for me to just relax and not show that I'm stressed or worried. Yeah. Because it's just, they can be intimidating, but I'm very confident in what I bring to the table. Yes. And with women and with men, if they don't give you the time of day, I adapted a mindset of they're not interested and that's okay. It's nothing personal. As a company, we have our values and we're very clear in what we offer and what we bring to the table and what I bring to the table as Maryam. And if someone is not interested, then it's fine,
Yeah.
you know. No one, when we set our sales meetings, you know, we want to get 80 companies, but we need to list down 8,000 because we're not going to get 80 just by listing 100.
Yeah.
And so it's the same when you talk to people or try to convince people to join your mission.
Yeah, no, I agree. So every leader has defining moments. What shaped your approach to leading and building teams?
I never ran a team before Rebound, so it was very difficult for me to build a team, hire people, and let alone run a company and be the face of it. It was it still is very overwhelming. And I think one of the hardest jobs is to actually manage people. It's not the P&L, it's not the concept, it's not the business. If there's one person or 50 people reporting to you, it's a huge burden. You want to make sure that your team is okay, everyone is aligned, no one's upset, work is flowing. So the defining moment, I think, is when I told myself, I can't do this on my own at all. I can only do 5%. I need other people to do the 95%. And I started paying attention. I treated my team members as, you know, distant friends. With my friends, I like to realize what makes them upset, what makes them happy, when are they most energized. And when you start treating team members on an individual basis, but then combining all of their strengths, that's when either you become a successful leader or just another manager.
Correct.
So it's hard. I still struggle. It's not easy, whether, you know, the team, we're 11 in total. So whether I'm managing 10 or if I'm managing 1,000, I think it's still going to be difficult, but the right people make it fun.
Absolutely. I think team management is just a different task altogether, and you'll probably learn as you go along. It's just the way it is, and then you adapt to different members of the team. And I know personally as well that it's one of those interesting, but you need them as well. You're right. So
and I have a few team members, maybe 2 or 3, that I formed a very nice working relationship with them. That they are not shy to call me out, like in private. They'd come and they'd go like, you shouldn't do this, or you shouldn't have said this, or by the way, maybe try doing this. Like, because I'm the youngest on the team, let alone I am, I always tell them it's my first time and it's all of our first time doing this job. So the company is a completely new idea. This is my first time jumping into the private sector, let alone entrepreneurship. So you help me and I'll help you, but let's just make sure that our tasks are done, our clients aren't left waiting, and that we can be on our best behavior internally and externally. So things go and, you know, mishaps happen, but the most important thing in a team is that no one takes anything personally, because once you start having these conflicts, it's very difficult to resolve, and then the work never gets done.
Correct. Yeah, true. And what advice would you give women aiming for leadership in sustainability?
Go for it, but be prepared, because it's not easy. And there is a misconception about sustainability. Sustainability means that you can sustain something. It's not about being green or putting like a cardboard box as a giveaway, or, you know, it's not these things. Sustainability means how can we pass over this company or this planet or this farm onto the coming generations. And so there's a lot of operational work that needs to be done. So anyone that pursues sustainability needs to ensure that they have the capacity to understand what operationally needs to change. And it's not easy, because if you're a sustainability champion or a CSO in your entity or company, if you make a difference in the company, great, but you need to influence the likes of your company, or else if I'm a logistics company and I'm operating, a green ship, but then my other colleagues and competitors are still using other types of like old methods of transportation, the ocean won't feel the difference of the polluted, things in the sea. So I always say that whoever wants to pursue the role in sustainability needs to have an impact around. It's like a spider web impact. It's not just my department or my company, it's the world, because what we do in one place impacts people all over the planet. And this is what is not being conveyed today. When you enter any meeting, or if you ask anyone, are you guys sustainable? They'd go like, yes, we don't have plastic bottles in the office. And I'm like, this is not the point. It's not about plastic bottle or a glass bottle or an aluminum can or the multi-layered. It's not that. It's much bigger. It's how did you construct your office? Do you really need carpets because they're not recyclable? When you host your events, how much do you print? Do you really need all that ink? Do you need to put a sticker on your packaging? All these things people are not aware of. They just focus on, we eliminated single-use plastics.
Correct.
Hooray.
Yeah.
But then their trash bin has a plastic bag lined in it. So women need to understand, if they want to get into sustainability, they need to know the ins and outs from A to Z so that they can do a fair job, not even a good job.
Absolutely. Thanks for the insights as well there.
Course.
So we spoke a little bit about AI and tech earlier. Apart from what we've discussed, has data ever revealed anything surprising, any surprising insight at Rebound?
So data has helped us understand that the proximity of recycling contributions helps bring the costs down. And previously we used to think that the recycling activity on its own was really, really expensive. When Rebound started operating and bringing on all of these recyclers from different parts of the world, all of them had one struggle, and that was that their facilities, not all of them are being optimized or utilized at 100% capacity. That's why their prices are higher. And it's because a lot of them import their raw materials. Because their local companies are exporting these raw materials. So data has shown us that actually it's all about the flow of the supply chain. And the way to fix this, we've tried through different types of, let's say, financial tools or quality tools, and it's not that. The only way that this can be fixed is that if customs and governments put a very strict rule to what are the critical raw materials that cannot leave a country versus what can enter a country. If I'm a country that has the capacity and capability of recycling rubber tires, then may all the neighboring countries import me their tires. I don't mind. But if I'm a country that specializes in recycling plastic or paper, then I need to adopt accordingly. No one country can close its border and do all recycling activities alone. So it's more of how do we match the data with proximity so that the prices reach a threshold or an optimum where the virgin materials and recycled materials are somewhat similar. They'll never be the same, but they'll always be similar.
So moving on, Maryam, you're big on self-improvement. What habit or ritual has made the biggest impact on you lately?
Learning on the go. Previously, I used to read a lot. I still do. And I find books the start and the end to any type of self-improvement that I do. But for the last few months or almost a year, I've been learning how to listen. So I'm starting to read stakeholders and read their problems, their concerns, and form it back into a solution from Rebound. When an entrepreneur starts out, I wanted to think that I fixed the problem, I'm the champion. here's the entire set of, this is the prototype, or this is the business that's going to solve the entire world's problem in trading recyclables. But little did I know that even if I could fix everyone's problems, they would still find a second and third and fourth problem. There will always be a problem. So instead of trying to continuously change or tweak, I am starting to treat stakeholders, and this is what's helping me improve and learn, is I'm listening to them and I'm taking it back to the team and seeing whether we can do something about it or we can't. And when we can't, we learn why not, and we see, can we do this on the longer term or not. So rather than us assuming, or rather than us reading feedbacks that we would get our emails, so I started to engage more, and that's how I learn more, by visiting, by going to these facilities, by speaking in a very open manner, trying to help as much as possible. And they give me the most valuable knowledge that, you know, no analytics on a computer can, because people's words are much more valuable than, you know, a printed report at the end of the day. And hopefully one day I can write a book about everything I've learned from this industry, because it's a very, very, very beautiful one. And it upsets me that the media portrays it in a very gray and rusty manner. The recyclers and the waste managers and all of these companies are beautiful in their own way, and they're doing so much that one wouldn't assume or guess sitting, you know, in a high tower or living in an apartment.
I'm sure you'll write that book in the future.
I hope
I can
so.
see it. And how do you see women driving the future of sustainability here in the UAE?
We have great examples already. Some of the people that I really admire in this space include Her Excellency Maryam AlMansoori or Her Excellency Dr. Razan Al-Mubarak. You know, growing up, having them as role models or like as inspirational women from the UAE and making an impact in the UAE has helped. Moving forward, I think it's up to us women to make a difference, because we care about the future generations. When I sit with men, and I sit with a lot of men because of the type of work that I do, I feel like men always look at numbers, and it's great. Also as women, we do look at numbers, and it's everything is a business deal. But I feel like because we have this empathetic side to us, we think about our kids or our friends' kids or like the grandkids or, you know, or parents. We think we go beyond the business, and this is something that I haven't yet met a man that looks at this. So when it comes to sustainability, you'd realize that women are taking on these roles and women are doing the job because women have the mental capacity to understand where the business wants to go, but also where she wants her family to live and grow up in. So when we talk about food security, you can have the most amazing businesses that are set up that can provide food security, but then who's out there setting out the policies? It's the woman. Who's making the impact in sustainability and sustainable financing? It's the woman. So there's definitely a complementary role of who women usually are versus who they can be and are in sustainability roles as well.
True. And what lasting impact do you hope Rebound will have for women in business in sustainability, both locally and globally?
I hope that Rebound provides every woman the platform to put up the products and her efforts in what she produces or can contribute to. We're actually building Rebound in a way where it becomes an open platform that anyone can visit and tap into, let alone anyone can source or procure from. So today, when we look at what women are doing, I think I read the statistic yesterday that over 92% of UAE SMEs are owned and run by women. So we do a lot. especially in the UAE,
Wow.
and you can only imagine globally
Yeah.
what the impact is. So Rebound can and will be a platform that, if women are upcycling textiles in Cairo to create bags, or some of the women here are, recycling the seed of dates
Yeah.
into utensils or cutlery.
Sure.
So all of these women would use Rebound as a platform, as a free marketing and sales platform to get their products to move and transact, but also be educated and knowledgeable about the global arena of circular economy and materials, because there would be, exclusive data and insights on how the markets are moving and what are the options and what is the better way for them to enhance their output. So yeah, there's a lot that we can do as Rebound for women that are passionate in sustainability. And soon, hopefully, in 2025, we're able to uplift a lot of these women and help them scale their businesses and grow their revenue numbers.
So exciting.
Yeah,
Super
I can't
exciting. So, Maryam, looking back, what's one piece of advice you'd give your younger self starting out in this field? Or even younger self?
I think I tell myself to always stay curious. As a young child, I was always very curious. I used to ask a lot of questions. And when I started volunteering or working in general, like before graduating from university, I was that one intern or volunteer that would ask 20 questions in like the span of 5 minutes. Until today, I do that. I hold myself from doing that with clients, but with my team, like they would say one sentence and I already have 10 questions. So it's to stay curious and always wanting to know more, and to never shy away from not knowing a definite answer. Till today, there are things that I don't know. And the first thing I would respond to a question is, I don't know. It's not a bad thing when you state that you can't answer something specific.
Absolutely. So that brings us to the end of this episode, and thank you so much. It was very, very interesting, and I'm sure the viewers are going to pick up so many interesting ideas, tips, and we'll be looking out for your success in the future.
I hope so. Thank you so much, Sophia, for having me. Thank you.